Hello again, guys. Jim P. Pawoodsman's channel. This is going to be an introduction video on the one series I mentioned in my one video about first aid, self-aid, and the topics we're going to be discussing. First off, this is not a replacement to an actual first aid and CPR class. You can go to any Red Cross or local ambulance service, and for either minimal cost or nothing, you can get some sort of training in this. Hands-on is the best way to learn. My background, I'm a paramedic. Started out as a advanced first aider back in 1982. Been doing this for 30 years, off and on, on an ambulance. I also drove truck for a period of time, so, but I still, whenever I was off, still maintained my skills. Currently, I'm a paramedic. Been a paramedic since 2000. Seen a lot of stuff. A few things I've not done. One most is delivered a baby yet. Hope I just didn't jinx myself this week. So, what we're going to start off with is going to be almost like what we would be teaching you if you were actually in a certified course with the American Red Cross or the American Heart Association, or whatever the state that you reside in chooses as their curriculum. No one likes to see a person hurt or injured or ill, be it a friend, family member, or just somebody, and a fellow hiker or bushcrafter you come across along the trail. First thing you want to do is identify the problem. We always try to do that from a safe distance too. The reason being, we want to make sure there's nothing there that's going to put ourselves in harm's way. Be it in the woods, did a deadfall come down on this person? Widowmaker, excuse me. Any threat of another one coming down? Is it windy out? Are you walking through a power line? There's your power lines down near the person. You don't want a chance of electrocution. You're only good to that person if you're safe and uninjured yourself. As a person in water, are you a swimmer? Are you a rescue swimmer, per se? Somebody that's very good at swimming. My swimming is okay, but I don't feel myself comfortable as a rescue swimmer, so I choose, at least in my vehicle, I keep a throw rope. If you're out in the field, you can utilize a large branch, reach out, and hopefully they're able to grab it if they're not fatigued or hypothermic. If the last resort, do you want to put yourself into a situation where you're in the water, then you're hypothermic, and you're not able, you got to worry about yourself first before you can worry about them. So don't put yourself in any situation that's going to limit your ability to take care of the person. Same thing with snakes. If the patient's bit by a snake or a rabid animal, last thing you want to do is go up in there, start intervening and getting yourself nailed. Bee's nest. Person might be allergic to bees. You might be allergic to bees. Don't put yourself in that situation. Think about it before you do it. Also, when we're saying doing, I know it's hard sometimes. You want to help somebody, but think about it. Would anyone else at my level think about doing what I'm thinking about doing? You know, typical person should not be going up and putting a needle in somebody's chest and doing a tracheotomy or suturing somebody. That's beyond your scope of practice. I can't even do a tracheotomy. I can do a needle crate in their throat. I can do a needle in the chest. I don't do sutures in the field, not trained to do them. It's one thing if you do choose to do them to yourself, but there's other ways around that that are a lot safer, and the outcomes will be just the same and a lot better if you choose not to do that. So, like I said, this is not going to be a replacement to actual hands-on official training. This is just going to be a guide to help you until you are able to get some sort of formal training It's going to be more or less what you're going to learn if you would go to an actual training course. But I'm going to teach you what is realistic and what you're going to be able to do out there that's going to benefit a person to the best of your ability. There's going to be times it's going to be hard to make this decision, but you may have to write the person off. I apologize, especially when it's a multi-casualty situation. Let's say you're walking through the woods and it's stormed through the night. Right now there's a bunch of tornadoes going through Oklahoma. We heard about the situation down at Arkansas here a year or two ago where the campground was flooded. You just wandered up on 20 people laying alongside of a shore or in the woods, crying, screaming, moaning. Some of them might not even be talking, might not even be screaming. And you're going to have to go up and start looking at each one of these persons, see who's worse off. And typically the worse off ones are the ones you're going to have to say, well, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do for them right now. If they're walking and talking, say, hey, grab something, put it over where you're bleeding, or sit down over there. I'm going to get help to you. But there's going to be times you're going to have to make that judgment call, and I'm sorry, but that's the bitter truth. The way the law is right now, there's Good Samaritan law, but there's also very good attorneys out there that can turn laws around to the favor of their person that's wanting to sue you if you do something that they didn't think was right that jeopardized them. You might have thought that what you were doing was the best thing you could do for that person, and it certainly was, but the person was not happy with the outcome. Let's say, for example, you did have a widowmaker come down on a person, and the leg was broken. The person was down for some time. You were able to get that branch or whatever off the person's leg, but there was significant damage to the leg. You splitted it. You controlled any bleeding. You prevented or controlled the person's shock that he was in, and you got help. Patients now extricated from the woods by rescuers, taken to a hospital, treated, gone through recovery, rehab, released. A couple months later, you get a call from an attorney. Seems that the person lost their leg. There was nothing they could do for it to save it, and they want to sue everyone and their brother because they're mad because they just lost a limb. The reason they lost their limb is probably because that object was laying on their leg for a period of time and it's caused what is called a crushing injury. And a lot of times there's buildup of acids, which we call lactic acidosis, in through the bloodstream and everything. And it just causes tissue death. There's nothing you could have done any better to prevent that. But still, they want to pin the blame on as many people they can get. It may not be them, it may be the attorney, because each person adds a little bit to the pot. And that's more that's going to go to the person that was injured, and that's more that's going to go to the attorney because he gets a percentage of that pot. So that's reality, folks. So don't let that stop you from helping people, but also make you think about it before you jump in and think, is somebody else just like me, normal Joe Blow, walking through the woods, going to do something just like this to help that person? Alright guys, that's the introduction. Look forward to showing some more videos here in an upcoming future. Probably going to start off with what Tom's been really curious about, and that's shock, the different forms of shock. and how we're going to prevent shock from getting any worse than what it is. Then we're going to go through the ABCs and Ds, some CPR, different type of environmental emergencies, be it hyperthermia, hypothermia, burns, ticks, snake bites, etc. Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching. Look forward to your commenting and your interacting. And as always, most of all, God bless.